Welcome, everyone. It's Monday. Yes. And what time is it? It's the Thriving Conversation time. Yay. Well, happy belated Valentine to anybody who's still celebrating. I'm actually have somebody who is taking the long weekend. I think Dawn was telling me that she is taking a long weekend celebrating love. I say, perfect. This is perfect. So we want to thank you for joining us and welcome our guests and our host, Sarah, and our guest, Regina. Hi, Regina.
Hi, ladies. Thanks for having me. I really
Oh,
appreciate it.
thank you for being here, for helping us opening up the week
Mhm.
and, talk about love of so many levels. So,
Yes.
absolutely. So, I want to kick off the conversation by having Sarah introduce herself, and then I'm going to jump in a little bit, and then we're going to let Regina tell us about her story, her mission, and how does she help people with her love.
Yay. Oops. Looked like I was freezing for a minute. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good to be back. Good to see you. And thank you for tuning in. I am just going ahead and introduce myself quickly. I'm Sarah M. I grew up in Cambodia. My life started out beautiful in the countryside as a child. And then when I have a chance to attend college, I went to the city, to the big city, and the college was far away from home, from the family. While I was there, the unfortunate thing happened to Cambodia. That's when the communist Khmer Rouge took over our country and they came in and basically just punished us and destroyed our country, and our life was turned upside down, inside out. I struggled through that, but pretty hard. But what kept me alive was the love for my family. So I'm grateful that God keep me alive, and my family was so happy that I did not disappear. I came back home, reunited with them. So that's why every time when we think about love, I am always grateful because of the love. It doesn't have to be love for husband and wife and boyfriend, girlfriend. Any kind of love is very powerful. So just want to share that much. And now that I'm here in this country, and I'm even more grateful because of the love that I receive from so many people. So back to you, Lee.
Well, thank you, Sarah. That was beautiful. I mean, we are starting out with love, and my family is also a former refugees that we came from Vietnam. The love that my parents have for their children is so insurmountable that they crossed the ocean just for us. So we can have a future, freedom, because we were running away from communists in Vietnam, which is the neighbor country of Cambodia. And we also endured the 4 years of tyranny under communists. And it was to the point that we had no choice but to run away if we want to be free and we want to have a future. So I told my story in my book. It's called "I Did Not Miss the Boat," and I also have told my story on TEDx stage, which is also you can find it on my website leetran.com. And both Sarah and I now using our story to inspire other people by speaking. We are out there to inspire people and bring out good hope message and things that we have done for us to inspire other people to break out their silence and also inspire other people with their story. So today, I want to say that we are so lucky that we have Regina. She's also a international speaker. Um, a realtor, a coach. She wears many hats, but I think one of the message here, Regina, is to promote inner peace. And inner peace is so important to start with love from for yourself, for the people around you, and lots of time that people who gone through trauma got a lot of anger inside, and if you can't tame that inner peace, there's no way you can express love. So today I want to invite Regina to tell us about what is her mission in the inner piece that she's promoting with all the hats that she's wearing, how she incorporate that into the message. And Regina, so welcome to be here with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Lee and Sarah. And it's a topic that's very fitting, as I'm sure we all agree with the time. And, I found even just today, several times through different conversations, that one of the things that a lot of people, I think most people struggle with is self-love.
Mm-hmm.
And, we hear love about partners and, romantic partners and even family, but it's one of those kind of elusive things. And I totally agree with what you said, Lee, about when people are going through trauma or their own struggles, specifically, anger, right? The anger is really, it might be outwardly expressed. It might be expressed through anger of other people or to other people, but the anger is really to ourselves
Mm-hmm.
because we've let ourselves down.
Yeah.
Either we don't trust ourselves or we don't trust the decisions we've made in the past, which leads to regret and shame. Um, we feel like we should have done something or maybe we shouldn't have done something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So having that, I think, self-forgiveness is
Mm-hmm.
really important. And then from there, having that self-love, which is a daily practice. It's like brushing your teeth, right? Just because you had a little yesterday doesn't mean you're not going to brush your teeth today or next week.
Yeah.
So I think self-love is really important. And it's one of the things that I think most people struggle with because they feel like they're not enough or they feel like they should be doing more. And and life is not easy, like Sarah said, things can be really good and then in a moment's notice things change. And so having that strength from within inside of ourselves, I feel is one of the best blessings and gifts anyone can ever have,
Yeah.
because nobody can take that away.
Right.
If you feel good about yourself and yourself, your limitations even, right? If I know that I can only lift, let's say 5 pounds of weight, but I lift 20 pounds, I'm going to
Right.
get hurt. So being mindful about our limitations and our boundaries of ourselves
Mm-hmm.
and getting stronger, every day doing a little something more and more. And you ladies are great examples of that. I mean, having written your book, and Sarah being in college in a whole new area and then coming to the US. I mean, that's fascinating, and I come from a family that's also um, not American, right? My parents came from Russia, from Ukraine. So it's hard work to come
Mm-hmm.
to a new country and not speak the language. I mean,
Were you born here?
I was
Okay.
born in the US and I speak Russian,
Oh, you
but
do at home.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
But there's
I've
still a lot of struggle. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're born here or you're born in your own regional country. It's just a different type of struggle. It's a different type of breakthrough. And how did it lead you to this philosophy of teaching how people to reach their own inner peace? And I'm aware that you are also a yoga teacher.
mhm.
So,
Well, I love that question. And in full transparency, I wasn't very peaceful. And
mm,
that's why I feel so blessed now to teach this and lead people with this, or guide, I think is a better way to say it.
yeah.
Guide people with this because I know exactly what it feels like not to be peaceful and to be angry. And I personally, that when I talk about anger and that journey, that was my journey, and still some days it is when
Mhm.
something's not going right and I don't feel good about a decision that I made or I made a mistake. I have to also take my own medicine and I have to practice that self-forgiveness and say, you know what, did you do the best you could?
Yeah.
Did you, did you do the best you could with the information that you had?
I
And
hear you totally too, because I have those moments, and I think a lot of time that people who come on from the background that you keep fighting and you're trying to tame that beast, right? That anger beast that we want to say that because the condition that we was born in, not to blame it, but because there's so many levels to triggering it. And there's a good day you can tame it, and there's a bad day. Sometimes you get up in the wrong side of the bed and it's easy to flare up, but it's good to have that awareness and be able to, and I think the best teacher is the one who've gone through there and be able to take people to that place again. So I think that not to say that we've been there and we know everything and we can always contain that beast, but if we can help people, and I'm so glad to hear you saying that you have been there, and just like I have, like, I don't know, Sarah is always calm, so she might not have it, but but I know there's day that PTSD. Someday I just want to sob all day. Someday I just want to scream all day. And I think it's okay to do that every now and then, as long as you're not carrying it as your flagship, that's your trademark or something. So how do you go about to recognize yourself that you have to step out of that condition to better yourself?
yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful you said that, Lee, because I feel that way sometimes. Like some days I just want to scream, and I
Mhm.
just like, and I do, right? I take my pillow, I scream in my pillow, and then
Yeah,
I call it a day, and
it's
I feel
good to
better.
do that. It's good to do
Yeah.
that.
Like I think that's, for me, that's been kind of the difference. Like when I think of, okay, my mentors and my teachers that I look up to, the ones that I really appreciate and respect the most are the ones that they don't hide that they're human.
Mhm.
And they say, look, I put my pants on the same way like everybody else,
Yeah,
and they're not pretending like they're better than anybody. They're not pretending they have it all figured out. They're just saying,
right.
this is what works for me. Try it. It might
Mhm.
work for you,
Right.
and that's where I come from, is I do my best. I serve my clients and my students, and I say, here are the tools.
Mhm.
Um, and how it kind of started was I started actually doing yoga a long time ago. Like when I was 15, I went to my first yoga class,
Wow.
and I just turned 40 last week.
Oh, you're so
So
young.
thank you. I'll take it. So,
Yeah.
so I've been doing yoga for a long time. And even though I wanted to teach, I didn't see it happening. I didn't know how it was going to happen. And I, had my own insecurities about being a
Mhm.
teacher and what it
Mhm.
meant and all that stuff. And I was in real estate, like a business person. So I'm like, I can't just teach yoga all day, like how am I going to feed myself and my
Right.
family and all this? So I started doing more yoga because I was so stressed out with real estate. And it became like my yoga mat became like my temple.
Mm.
And when I had a rough day or I wanted to relax, I would get on my yoga mat. And then one day, the stars aligned and I had an opportunity to take the certification, and I did. And even then, I still was saying to myself, this is just to make me a better yogi.
Mhm.
It's not to do anything.
Mhm.
And while I was in school, I got offered a job to teach. And I said, wow, that's pretty cool. And so I started teaching 6 days a week, or 6 classes a week, and then 12 classes a week.
Mm.
And next thing I know, I was a full-time yoga teacher. And then I went back and forth, and now I don't teach as much classes, and I do more privates and now mindset coaching. But I say all of that to say that it's an ongoing journey and an ongoing practice. And sometimes the things that lead us to the peace come from the things that were everything but that. Like I was dealing with a lot of anger towards myself, and anger not towards it. Yes, it seemed like it was to other people, but it's really, I was dealing with my own um like judgment is
Right.
really, we're judging, like even when you point fingers at someone, if you look at pointing, you're pointing one finger out and three back at ourselves. So when we're pointing at someone, we're
Yeah.
judging them, but in reality, we're judging ourselves because we didn't make a good decision when we chose that person, whether it's for a business deal or a partner, or, you know, even children sometimes, you know, like it's so easy. Like we just got a puppy. It's so easy to blame the puppy and say, you know, shame on you, you did bad.
Right.
But shame on me because I didn't train the puppy to do it right.
Right.
You know, so it's really about, and I don't even like that word shame. I try not to use that word, but I use it in the example. Like, I really think it comes back to that side of, is everybody doing the best they can with the resources they have?
Yeah.
It's just beautiful the way you put it. I think it is so true. Whatever we say, think, or do is a reflection upon ourselves to other people. And it's just funny that I've just read the Four Agreements, that book, and it's just so true too. And a lot of time we're angry. It sounds like we're angry toward other people, but because we're so angry at ourselves, that we have to find somebody to blame to get an outlet, just like you with the dog, with the puppy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it
And
is, go
it's,
ahead.
I was just going to add, it's taking, accountability and full responsibility for everything that happens in our lives. And if that means taking responsibility for bad choices, that means taking responsibility for bad health, bad, um, you know, I mean, yes, of course, there's certain circumstances we're not in control over. And the reality is we always have a choice how we respond.
Yeah.
So, God forbid if I get sick, you know, I can choose to continue making bad choices that get me sicker, or
Right.
I can be self-reliant and I can choose some options that are healthier and that are more empowering and give me the strength and the stamina that I need, right? But
Yeah.
it's very easy, like you said, it's so easy to just point fingers at people and make them wrong. But in reality, it's all up to us. You know, I mean, things are going to happen. That's saying bad things do happen to good people,
Yeah.
and we can still thrive.
And I just love the way that you acknowledge that and you take yoga lesson. That is something that I still have to fine tune. Like I have my moments, and it's not easy to be peacefully sit and do yoga or meditation, but it's a journey. And I love the way that you will actually be able to use it for yourself and then certify. And even if you don't do that as much, but you have the tools, that's part of the tool that you sharpen, that skill that you'll be able to provide to the people that you're coaching, or the people that who want to learn other aspect but don't know how to tame that piece of self-awareness and inner peace. So that is the love, that's the love that we have for ourselves and the love that we share for other people, and that's just beautiful. I want to thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. And thank you for having me and, you know, creating this platform. Like I know there's so many people that are benefiting from this. And I just before our call, I think I shared with you ladies that I was talking to a lovely woman and she had just lost her brother. And you know, it's so interesting because sometimes we don't take the time in our busy society to
Mhm.
feel.
Mm.
And it's really important to slow down sometimes and to just acknowledge, like you said, if you need to scream, scream, you know, if you need to cry, cry, like
Yeah,
give ourselves permission to have feelings, because it's
right.
just like a balloon. You know, if you put that balloon and you try to put it underwater, it's going to come up and it's going to explode. So if we just create that space for supporting one another
Mhm.
through these crazy times, I think we're going to have a much better success rate for all of us. And we're going to have more compassion for one another and just a much better world.
It is. I think a lot of time we're trying to hide our feelings or ignore our feelings, and like you said, we don't allow it to feel anymore because everybody's busy. Let's move on. Let's move on. And that's the biggest thing people like to say, okay, let's move on. But you need to allow that grieving period. Um, I know that when my father passed away, I didn't give me time to grieve. and I'm still grieving after 20, he passed away, I would say 30 some years now.
Mm.
And when I wrote my memoir, it was such a great period for me to release that anger, that grief, that sadness moment. And it all came out and it feels so good. And every time I share the story right now, is I feel like a piece of me that's slowly healing. And I think we need to have that conversation. Talk to a friend, a coach, your spouse, even your kids. I think they'll understand. So it is very that it is a critical part of the inner peace. Now maybe Sarah can share with us how, I mean, she's always got that calm aura. So I don't know how, but she just, yeah, I would love to see you get angry sometime.
Well, when I was younger, I I got angry a lot. Oh, what happened to my lighting? It's not.
That's trying to get you angry right there.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, when I was younger, I get upset a lot. I was
Yeah,
angry and all that. I'm not that calm, but you learn as you grow
yeah.
older.
Hmm.
You become more mature, and you realize that it doesn't do us any good to just yell or angry.
Yeah.
Um, I give a lot of consideration about any situation. So
No, it is true. I mean, sometimes I think I have not flare anger as often as I was when I was young. I think it was like impatience, and also you don't know how to hide the feeling. So I think when you're young, of course, and then when you get older, you feel like it's not worth the effort or the thing that you do, because um just creating more health problem.
yeah, I used to 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 blow the horn at people when they drive,
Oh,
badly.
really? I don't do that.
I know when I was younger, but I
I think it's all depending where you come from too. If you're in New York or in a bigger city, that's almost like a habit than an anger.
yeah, but but now when people drive crazy and cut people off and say, I said, he's going to get an accident. I'm just thinking to myself, he's going to. At one time, last year, I was driving with my husband from Fort Myers, and it's just a quiet highway, straight 70 I-75, and this red car, he cut people off in and out, in and out, and I told my husband, he's going to get an accident. So a few minutes later, his car was in the ditch. So fun.
Oh my gosh.
I laughed so hard. I said, see?
So that's funny. But Regina, if people come to you and ask for help, what is your number one tips about helping people to find their own inner peace?
Mm, I love that question. Thank you. The number one thing is, I believe, is gratitude.
Mm,
And I spoke about that actually today. I was on doing a recording for a summit, and it sounds so simple, but it's so powerful. And what it does is it reframes everything.
mm-hmm.
Like there's that I think it's like a story or like a fable, not a fable. It's like a saying. If someone is feeling sorry for themselves because they have no shoes,
Mm-hmm.
have them talk to a man with no feet.
Oh
Mhm.
God. Oh God. Yeah,
Right?
I've heard
Yeah,
that. And I
yeah.
love that. I love that. Absolutely.
Like anytime I'm feeling like depressed, or if I'm
Mm-hmm.
feeling sorry for myself, which I don't experience that as much anymore because I'm more aware. But I'm human, I have my days.
Yeah.
Um, and I notice, as soon as I notice it, I do my best to like take myself out of my own body, so to speak, like
Mhm.
almost like be the witness. We call it in yoga, become the witness.
Yeah.
And as if you're talking to a friend, you know, what would you say to your friend? You would say, don't talk to yourself like that. You know, don't
Mhm.
talk to my friend like that, right? Like
Mhm.
really be
I
aware of,
know. Yeah, we're so bad about that to
yeah.
ourselves,
Hmm.
but we never do that to a friend, even
Right.
stranger.
Hmm. And that's where I think the self-love comes in. Cause you know, if we don't talk nicely to ourselves, we're we're not being a good friend to ourselves, which is the best person you need to be
Yeah.
a friend to first.
But I
And
love that. Yeah, I love that frame of reference. I really, really love that frame of reference. And not that saying that I came from a place that is so bad and, da, 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 but I always go back to that place when I'm feeling like I don't have enough or I'm not enough or, like always refer back when I have to do something bad. I was like, oh, it's better than the refugee camp. It's better
yeah,
than the dirt floor or the sand floor or the thatch roof or the bleak condition that we were on. It's all a way about back to gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
What you have right now is a lot better than maybe compared to the period that you were in the darkest period or the person that who's going through the darkest period. Like right now, your friend just, you know, gone through something that's horrible. And there's always, like I said, where do you compare yourself with? And there's always some blessing that we can draw out from that, and saying that I'm so glad that I have all of this, and look at the what I didn't have is nothing compared to what I have right now.
mhm. I
So
think you also said something which is really important, comparing, right? I call it comparasitis.
mhm,
It's like it's a real thing, you know, and in the times when I feel the least good about myself,
mhm,
if I look back at the thread, it's
mhm,
because I'm busy comparing myself to the person in front of me. Oh, she has that or he has that. How come
yeah,
I don't have that? It's like it's none of my business what
right,
they have, first of all.
Mm.
And second of
Yeah.
all, they probably have some other problem that I don't have, right?
right,
They might have a great, maybe mansion house, but they might not have health, or they might have a bad relationship, right? And it's not
exactly,
my business to go in their yard and look. And you know, it's like
right,
I think that's been my biggest lesson is, and that I get from yoga and I get from spirit, right? Is
mhm,
focus on myself and making
yeah,
myself better. Because when I feel good about myself, I don't have time to compare and I don't have time to judge other people and get into their noses and their business. Like I need to focus on my doing what I'm here to do.
right.
And
And it's a constant struggling. It's a constant reminder. I mean, as a speaker, I'm sure I don't know about you, but if a speaker before me speaking and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so good. How am I going to top that?
Mhm.
Luckily I wrote my book, but I'm just reading another book right now about another refugee, and his writing was like impeccable. And I'm saying to myself, I'm so glad I wrote my book already, because if I have read his book and I have not written my book, I'm probably so intimidated that I would not be able to write my book. See, and I already did, and I'm still comparing because I mean, you can't compare oranges and apples. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody has a different journey, a different. Sometimes, he grew up from here. I didn't grow up from here. He has a lot of time reading and writing, American literature and even Shakespeare and other things. I didn't have that. So, but it doesn't stop me from comparing. I know
Right.
it's a flaw that we all trap into. Um, but that's why we're going to have to keep working on it. Yoga is the great things, finding inner peace and try not to compare. So if there's a good word of wisdom that you can leave with our audience, what would your advice would be?
Mm. So it's one word, and it's probably not a word that most people would think I would choose, but it's choose.
Mm,
Like choose to be
choice,
happy,
yeah.
you know,
Make the
choose
choice, right? Choose.
to be uh what's that saying? You can't be right and happy, right? I think when you choose to let go of being right, you become happy,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
because the happiness and the joy and the peace is more important. Like Sarah said, you become more emotionally mature, and you don't need to be right about everything. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if
Yeah.
if I'm having an argument with someone, or disagreement, let's say, it's a better word, disagreement. Okay, you want to be right about it.
Yeah.
You insist you
They
want
say
to be right.
sometimes
Okay.
it's harder to be kind than to be right.
Yeah. It's like, and in the end, it's like, I love Sarah's example. Like, in that case, when she was in the car, she was right. The guy was going to get into an accident, and he did. But she didn't get out of, like, her body and out of herself, and to prove
Yeah.
to him that he's probably an idiot for doing that, because he hurt himself and maybe somebody else.
Yeah.
And like you said, Lee, sometimes it is harder to be kind, because it means we have to shut up and, like, just go in, and sometimes the wisest one is the one that doesn't speak.
True. True.
So
You don't have to prove it.
yeah, you
Mm.
just show up, you just are, so
Right. That is so, so good. And wow. I wish I have more time to talk. I mean, our half an hour is so short, but I know that people are busy, and this is all the time that they could get if they actually gonna listen to us. So we appreciate your time to spend here with us, and we appreciate you, Regina, for sharing your theme of love with us about inner peace. Now, the next couple days, we're gonna have more about the love conversation. Um, I forgot who we have tomorrow. Oh my God.
Nishani is
Okay,
yeah.
Nishani. I don't know her too well, so that would be interesting. But I know on Thursday we're gonna have somebody who very interesting. She wrote a book also saying that what if the bully is you? So,
Hey.
so that is going to be more about self-love and be kind to yourself. And I don't think we can emphasize enough about how to love ourselves, because we are our worst enemy a lot of time, not even sometime, a lot of time. We judge ourselves, we mean to ourselves, and we keep, you know, feeding ourselves the same poison that we don't feed other people. So inner peace is today's theme. I hope everyone walk out of this conversation with the most inner peace to themselves. Do your yoga, do your meditation, and give yourself a big hug.
Yeah. Do
Thank you,
your
Regina.
prayer. Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. This was fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and have a great evening, everyone. Bye, Sarah.